Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, Senegal, 17 candidates vie for the top job as the country gears up for some make-or-break presidential elections this weekend. The field, though crowded, is wide open after a turbulent run-up to the vote in a country used to political stability. Also, health services are paralysed in Kenya amidst a nationwide doctors' strike that's into its second week. Medics are demanding better pay and working conditions and say they will not be backing down. And women of Kenya's Maasai community confront the limitations of traditional gender roles and illegal hunting. The lionesses are renowned for their work taking down poachers and prejudice around Ambolesi National Park. We take a closer look. But first, Senegal is just days away from delayed presidential elections amidst an unusually tense political mood. Incumbent Macky Sall will not be on the ballot, and 17 candidates are desperately scrambling to win over as yet undecided voters ahead of this weekend's exercise. Unemployment, which currently sits at around 20%, is a key issue. 3/4 of the population are under 35, and there have never been so many qualified graduates, with jobs being as scarce as ever. Our team sent us this report.
This is the fourth time in less than a month that Sedina, 32, has applied for a job.
I'm sending my resume now. Okay, here we go.
He has a master's degree in law and administration, but hasn't been able to find a job in either sector during the last 6 years.
Sometimes they call you, you have an interview over the phone, and they tell you they'll get back to you. Sometimes they take you on for 2 or 3 months as an intern, and then it's over.
Sedina has become a delivery man to make ends meet. For now, he doesn't really have better options.
The work isn't stable. Sometimes you can have a great day, but sometimes you leave the house in search of work, but you can't find anything at all. It's very difficult.
With minutes to go until the breaking of the fast, an important part of Ramadan, Sedina and his colleagues take a break. The presidential election is on all of their minds, but they have little faith in any of the candidates.
Since the presidencies of Senghor, Abu Diouf and Abdoulaye Wade all the way to the present, the Senegalese youth haven't been able to find a politician or candidate who responds to our demands.
The next president must help and reassure the youth. You see all the irregular migration that's happening. There are enormous numbers of young people who die at sea. He needs to assure the youth that they can stay and work.
In 2022, less than 10,000 new jobs were created in Senegal, 20 times less than the number of job seekers. Youth unemployment will be a major challenge for whoever wins the upcoming election.
Now, the way that candidates are reaching out to the Senegalese electorate is changing. In the past, hopefuls have jostled for space on huge billboards in a bid for attention. But the approach has become more personal this time around, be it face-to-face or online. The shift in strategy, though, has disappointed industrial printers who had been hoping to make record profits. Our team went to talk to some of those affected.
Mohammed casts a careful eye over his latest orders for presidential campaign posters.
We are in the process of printing posters for the Benobok Yakar coalition, whose candidate is Amadou Ba. And these are orders for Diomaye, another candidate. That's what the machine is currently printing.
The advertising manager is disappointed. He had been expecting much larger orders as the election approaches.
This isn't like a normal campaign. The candidates haven't come forward. We haven't been approached by many candidates. Our predictions have turned out to be completely wrong.
The presidential election was supposed to be held on February 25th, but was pushed back to March 24th, taking many candidates by surprise. Some political parties, including the PUR, have decided instead to focus on organising parade-style campaigns in the streets of Dakar.
The PUR focuses on proximity politics. We go to different neighborhoods throughout Senegal, and we've seen this kind of campaigning beginning to bear fruit.
At the headquarters of another candidate, Boubacar Camara, The comms team has decided instead to focus on social media. Their tricky mission is to stand out from the other 18 candidates going for the top job.
In Senegal, social media is omnipresent. We have 3 million followers on Facebook. We are among those who create the best quality and the most aesthetic content during this campaign.
The pressure is on for Camara and the others, as this campaign season will only last 12 days instead of the usual 21.
Well, Kenyan doctors have kept up a major nationwide strike for over a week. Around 4,000 medics from public hospitals say that the government has reneged on promises made after a 100-day walkout back in 2017. Strikers are calling for better medical cover and postings for about 1,200 interns. Laurent Berstecker talks us through.
In Nairobi's Kenyatta National Hospital, the emergency waiting room is filled to the brink. Josephine Njeri has been waiting for more than 6 hours to see a doctor, and her patience is wearing thin.
I have been here since 8 o'clock this morning. We have been told to wait for doctors because they're not in. This isn't normal. We would have been taken care of by now if there wasn't a strike.
For the past week, some 4,000 Kenyan doctors have been taking part in a nationwide strike, calling the move a last resort to get the government to the negotiating table. They're accusing authorities of failing to implement a 2017 agreement and are denouncing a collapsing health system, chronic understaffing, and low pay for medical professionals. The strike's impact has been felt across the country, with some patients waiting several hours for a consultation or simply turned away from hospitals. But Kenya's health minister, who visited Kenyatta National Hospital to assess operations, said the situation was under control.
Do not shy away from accessing services, especially at our national referral hospitals, as we wait to resolve the standing issue with the doctors that are on strike. But as far as I'm concerned, the referral hospitals are working pretty well.
In 2017, Kenyan doctors went on a 100-day strike, which saw people die from lack of care. The protest movement ended with the signature of a collective agreement, but nearly 7 years later, they say authorities haven't lived up to their side of the bargain.
Nigerian government officials will be banned from taking state-funded overseas trips from April. The trips will be paused for 3 months as President Bola Tinubu tries to rein in government spending on ministerial travel. Amidst Nigeria's persistent economic challenges, Tinubu's administration has come in for criticism for the huge amounts that have been spent on overseas trips, with over 400 people having been sent to Dubai for last year's COP28 climate summit. From April, only essential overseas travel, approved at least 2 weeks in advance, will be greenlit. Now, it was only on Wednesday that mourners could finally attend the funeral of a Congolese opposition politician who died last July. Cherubin Okende's bullet-ridden body was found in his car last year, but this month his death was ruled to be a suicide. The circumstances around Okende's death remain murky. A prominent Congolese journalist that authorities pursued over an unsigned Jeune Afrique article blaming military intelligence for Okende's murder was accused of spreading false news and only released from jail this week. Emmett Livingston is in Kinshasa and talks us through.
Congolese opposition politician Cherubin Okende has been laid to rest in Kinshasa, putting an apparent end to a political saga that has lasted for months. Okende was a former transport minister and the spokesperson for the political party of Moise Katumbi, Congo's leading opposition politician. But in July last year, Okende was found shot dead in his car on a main road in central Kinshasa, prompting a huge outcry. His body was only recently released back to his family after an official investigation concluded that Okende had committed suicide. But Okende's family, as well as many others, have dismissed the official explanation of his death.
Nous ne croyons pas du tout qu'il s'est suicidé.
We don't believe that he committed suicide at all. Everyone knows that Cherubin was murdered, and it was said the day after he died.
Hundreds of people turned up to Wednesday's funeral ceremony in Kinshasa, including opposition leader Moise Katumbi. with many praising Ukende, whom they said represented the very best of Congo. The Catholic Archbishop of Kinshasa also gave a funeral mass in which he called the finding that the politician had committed suicide incomprehensible. The mystery surrounding Okende's death is likely to remain. The authorities have not released the official autopsy report.
Now, Stanis Bujakera is the Congolese journalist who was jailed for over 6 months over the Jeune Afrique article about Okende's death. His arrest last September shone a spotlight on press freedoms in DR Congo, and he was released this week and reunited with his colleagues at the Actualité CD headquarters in Kinshasa.
Ma place n'était pas en prison.
My place isn't in prison. My place is in the newsroom. I'm very happy to be back where I belong. We have to be in the newsroom to do what we do. That is, to give information, to gather it, to deal with it, and to share it. It's all we know. I want to take this chance to thank all my colleagues in journalism. Thank you also to all of the organizations that defend our rights and the rights of journalists.
We are also pleased. As you can see, everyone at the office is very, very happy to see our colleague and Deputy Publishing Director of Actualité CD.
It's good to have him back, both editorially and as friend. At the end of the day, he is free. Thank you to everyone for their support in campaigning for Stani to regain his liberty.
Well, Kenya's Maasai tribe is traditionally patriarchal, but a group of young women have been challenging traditional gender roles. Called Team Lioness, they patrol the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro, searching for poachers and keeping endangered wildlife safe.
It looks like a military training. These women are about to patrol the vast plains in the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro. They're part of a group of rangers called the Team Lioness, whose main mission is to tackle poachers, a key threat on the land bordering this national park in southern Kenya. One of the rangers signals the others to stop. Suddenly, a shy giraffe runs to hide.
Animal sightings.
Keeping track of wildlife is also part of their duties traditionally assigned to Maasai men in a patriarchal society.
My community believes that a woman cannot do a physical demanding job. My community believes that women are always maybe weak. That's what they think so, but it's not true. They also believe that a woman is only supposed to be staying at home, giving birth, milking the cows and goats, going for firewood and water.
We came back to the community and we proved them, because they saw us with the uniforms, they saw us, we walked long distances, they saw us like we were in human-wildlife conflict.
But minds are slowly changing, according to this community leader.
In every profession, there are women. Even in engineering, there are women. In law, there are women. Even the pilots who shoot other countries, they are women. So why not this profession?
Team Lioness now wants to recruit even more women from the Maasai community, as well as create similar anti-poaching squads across Africa, breaking boundaries and building opportunities for many women in rural communities.
Why not, indeed? Well, that is, though, all we have time for Eye on Africa for now. Thanks for joining us, though. Do so again if you can. Till then, take care.